Okay, I was going to start with a little announcement and stuff. So Federated Insurance is going to be here on Tuesday, doing a similar thing to DigiKey. They'll present in class, and then at noon they'll have upstairs on third floor we'll have pizza, and then they'll talk about the internships and entry-level jobs that they have available for that. So that'll be this coming Tuesday here. We have a guest speaker. Rianne is coming in or zooming in at 11 today. We're going to try to do something a little different with the guest speakers. I've been real happy with the guest speakers. It just seems like I'm talking to the guest speaker and you're watching. And I want to try to change that dynamic a little bit. So with what we're going to try, I think, today is I've hooked up a second camera here. So when Rianne gets here, I think I'll switch Zoom here to the second camera like this. And then we'll just, unfortunately, I don't have a camera that can cover the whole room. But I think we'll just try to get move everyone kind of over into this camera zone. And so you can sit around there and talk to Rianne. I think it's a little out of, I thought this is out of focus though. Okay. So we'll see if we can get that going. So I might ask you to move when the guest speaker gets up here and get as many people in the camera spot as we can here. So, okay.
I was 3 years old when I found out that you could manually focus if I can.
Yeah.
I want to see that happening after photography.
Okay. So today we're going to start the Unit 8 stuff. So if you remember in class last time we took on Tuesday, we took code that was one big method and broke it down and had lots of things it did, lots of responsibilities, as we say, and tried to break it down into 5 separate methods, each having its own responsibility. So one was just in charge of writing to the database. Another one was just in charge of reading from a text file. And another one was in charge of parsing the fields in a text file. So we're going to take that code and have you work on it and connect up a database to it. And one of the problems with this code is that even though we've broken it up, it's still not set up for unit testing very well. It's very hard to do unit testing. And I've been trying to think of a way to have you understand how hard it is to do unit testing. And the way I came up is I'm going to force you to do unit testing on it because it's going to be hard. So that's your job this week, is to do unit testing on this software that's not designed to do unit testing on, so that next week when we break it up into different parts that are designed to do unit testing, we can just see how that's different for us. It also gives you a little bit more experience working with a database, an actual database, and unit tests here. We did a little bit of unit tests at one point, but I want to do some more of that here. So, because I think every speaker we talk to in this class talks about unit testing, so I think it is useful. So, okay. So, and again, the assignment, the learning activity here, we're going to set up and get the database set up and running and get an initial unit test running. And then for the assignment, you're going to go on. So both the assignment and unit test work off the same document here. So the unit learning activity is this first half of the document here. And then the assignment's the second half of this. So we'll try to do this first half in class today in the next 50 minutes. And then we'll let you work on the assignment after that. And all uses the same GitHub repository. So you should go, again, go to the learning activity, find the GitHub link there. Go to there, accept that. And again, you'll want to clone this repository. I think this is all up to date and working with the current systems. So let me know if you run into any trouble with this. So, and this should be the code that we talked about and is from chapter 7 of the textbook. So there's a trade.txt file here, which has these currency trades. Talks about Great Britain pounds to Japanese yen. What's the Japanese yuan? Whatever the Japanese currency. Yeah, is it yen? There, and it has an amount, and then yeah, and then how many of that to trade, and then the price for that. So that's the text file. We're going to try to read those into these trade records, which have the same. This is actually a C# method, or data class, which has, again, destination currency, source currency, the lot size, and then the price. So we're going to try to convert this text into those there. The main program doesn't do a whole lot. It creates a stream that's tied to this the text file and opens that up. It creates a trade processor object, and then it calls process trades and sends it the stream. So most of the stuff is in this trade processor method here. And if I scroll down to the bottom, I can see the structure. This is what we did. We broke this big long trade processing or process trades method into 3 methods. It calls read trade data using the stream that gets it a list of lines, list of strings. We pass that list of strings to parse trades, which converts it into a list of actual trades here. And then store trades takes those trades and stores them in a database. And that is what's going to fail right now. The other thing is parse trades uses 2 other methods. We don't have to be too concerned with those right now. But if I go up to parse trades, it calls validate trade data and map trade data to trade record here. So these are 2 methods above it. Does that all sound familiar? So right now, this should fail because we'll try to connect to a database, and right here, it'll fail. Let me get off of that line so that we can run. If you run this, it should try to start up and run and then crash. This is not where it was supposed to crash. Sorry, it's crashing in the wrong spot now. It's trying to open up this trade. Oh, I know. I renamed this project, I think. I didn't think of that. I thought. So let me try to change this. So in the program, it tries to open up the file, and I think, see, if that will work. No. trying to open this up in a way that we can get at this file without specifying the full path to it. And it's not happy. Okay, so I'm going to take a sec to figure that out. I'm going to get you started on the next part of this, I guess. Let's see. I want you to try to create a database file here that we can use for this. So we are, and again, I have a video here that walks through this pretty well, but I'll show you also. So we are going to create a database. So and store it in this like this data files location. So you can go to tools, connect to database. And we're going to use a Microsoft SQL Server database file. That's the fourth one down here for this Microsoft SQL. So we're not actually going to connect to a SQL Server. We're just going to use a SQL Server file to connect to there and use some internal. There's some stuff built in that'll connect to it. So we're just going to connect directly to this database file here. And then for the database name, you want to call this trade database.mdf. So database name, do that here. And keep it we don't want to use Windows authentication. We're going to use SQL Server authentication. No, let's just keep it at Windows authentication, I think, because I don't think you look at our let me look at the connection string we are going to use here. Yeah, so I think we can leave it at Windows authentication. So again, tools, connect to a database, do the SQL Server database file. It's trade database .mdf, and then hit OK. It does not exist, and then you want to create. You say yes, and you want to create it in this data files folder of your project. So it asks me. I'm not sure where it created that database file. So see if you get that created. And then we want to create, well, we'll let you do that. And let me see if I can figure out this error there. So again, you want to go through this first step, create this database file and see if you can do that. All right. Let me update some stuff here. Um, Okay, um, let's try this again. So I've updated the learning activity stuff. So there's two changes you have to make here. Sorry for this error, but go into programs.cs and I changed the name of the project right at the end. So it should be Unit 8 SRP F24, the same as it is here. This is in here, this is the actual, the new line of code. So you can just copy that and replace it. So again, inside the program.cs file, open that up. And then this one line here, where we set up the trade assembly or the trade stream, paste it, this new line over that one. That'll redo that. And then the other thing is that the trade.txt file, I moved that. It has to be set up a certain way so we can access it. You should right click on it and bring up its properties. It'll probably display the properties down here. And the build action has to be embed resource. So this embed action here for it. So trade, right click on trade.txt and its build action has to be embedded resource. I always forget to do that whenever I move these files around.
When I write click properties, it doesn't open it.
Might have to go to view and choose properties from there, which is, where's the view property? Yeah. F4 will also bring it up. So view properties window should bring it up somewhere on your screen.
No, I have the properties window, there's just nothing in it.
Okay, let's take a look.
This is normal data stuff. So, like it. Yeah.
Oh, how did it get into this data files? So, yeah, can we click on that? Yeah. So are you this? I'm trying to figure out what you are in here. So in your Solution Explorer, you're in a folder view. So in your Solution Explorer up here, there are different ways of viewing this. And I think, oops. Because it should show it like this. I'm trying to figure out why it's not showing it like that for you. So I think here, Try to set the standard settings to default, maybe. And then see if that will work. Are you guys able to change the properties on there? So, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in the wrong.
You're able to do it? Okay. Let's do that. So how did you open up the file? You just,
Sorry, I opened from.
okay, why, okay, don't, yeah, you did that wrong then. So go close the project. Because you open up the folder view, you need to open up the solution. It's a weird thing here. So if you're on Visual Studio,
Yes, instead of open the folder.
open up project resolution.
Okay.
And then go find it
Is that on to?
and
Oh, that is it, yeah.
and open, and then you want to click on the solution file. No, yeah, that SLN file. That will give you a slightly different view of things. So now when you run this, we should get to this point. It should connect to the database or try to connect to the database. And it'll crash when it's trying to connect to the database. It should open up the file, find read from the file. We just want it to crash when it tries to connect to the database. So see, now here connection.open is where it's trying to connect to the SQL database. So we want that error. We can fix, so that's a good error.
So I have it set up, where I'm trying to do a test and it's not.
So are you running this under tests run all or something like that?
Yeah, or just to.
Yeah. So where'd you put the, so, yeah, so we want to probably create a whole new project for the test.
Okay.
So if you right click on like process traits or whatever, on one of the classes you want to test, and then say create unit tests, it'll actually set up a whole test framework for us.
Okay.
And then right click on that, on the grade dot, it's the bottom.
We already told the database and that.
And so,
That says different class. We call the database.
and build back, it's not gonna build back from there.
Oh, that's it.
You,
You're, no, I like what I'm looking on, and just, yeah, it's specific. Oh, it's not very, very.
okay, so hopefully we're getting this Microsoft Data SQL client error here. That's the error we want. And so what it's trying to do is go out to the database, open up the database, and it's not finding it. So we've got to fix that. So I'm going to stop this and fix this, close this window. So let's look at how we connect up to the database. And we're going to do this in two different ways. First, we're going to do it with the local database, and then I'm going to do it with Azure cloud databases there. And you just have to do it with one way or the other. Hint, if you're on a Mac, you should do the cloud-based way because Macs won't, I don't think you can run this local stuff I think that's Windows only. So I'm just going to walk through the local one first. So again, that's what we did. We created the database file. So again, I should have gone here, tools, connect to database. I put in the database database MDF here, and I hit I created that file. Now with that file created over here in my Solution Explorer, and you may not see a Server Explorer. If you don't see the Server Explorer, go to View, Server Explorer here. And you can put it wherever, I don't know where it pops up on mine, it's on this side. And there's my database file, my trade database MDF file. And here's my tables, my stored procedures. There aren't any tables here. So we're going to create a table here for that. So we're going to right click on tables and say add a new table. Now you just have to write the SQL to create a new table. And you're thinking, Tom, I don't remember SQL. This isn't the SQL class. So I have the SQL ready for you. So in the data files, there's the trade SQL. Open that. See, it says create table. You want the one that says create table. Copy that and then close it. And then here, where it says create table, you're going to paste that in there. That's their code. Or you can just type that all in if you want. So that creates our table. We have an ID, source currency, destination currency, lot size, and price in our table. So we're going to do that now. To get this to run, we have to hit update. It prepares a script to run on our server, and then we say update database. I don't know how similar to this is to what you actually do in database modeling, but this is how we create databases here, tables. We let it run for a while. Over here, I might have to refresh my list. Eventually, the trades table should be up here. Should show here, and I can close this window. So and now we're going to do something similar for the stored procedures there. For the tables, we use this trade SQL. For stored procedures, we need one of those. We're going to write procedure. Again, we need the code for our stored procedure. So that's the insert trades code here. I'm going to copy all that. Copy all insert trades and paste it in here. It's, because this is just a generic procedure. Here's the real procedure we want. And again, then we're going to hit this update button up at the top. That creates a script for us. We're going to say update the database. It'll run on the database. And I might have to hit refresh over here, but I should see my stored procedures. I should have insert trade, stored procedure, and a trade one eventually. Again, you may have to hit refresh on your Server Explorer. So now we have our database ready to go. We have a table in it. We have a stored procedure for adding things. Now we just need the connection string to it. So we're going to click on the MDF file here and look at our properties. Where's my properties here? Over in properties, there should be a connection string property. I'm going to grab that whole connection string and bring it into my code and set that up. Define a variable that holds it. There's some sample connection strings here. I'm going to add a new connection string, Tom connection string equals. So then we're going to paste in that connection string into the code. So see if you can get a variable to hold your new connection string here. So just like the other one. So again, if you click on your database MDF file, in the properties will be the connection string. Just grab that and make a variable of that. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so hopefully we're working through these steps. And again, there's a video here that walks through it. So if you get completely lost, you can walk through this video also. So again, we created our database. We created an MDF file. We opened up the Server Explorer. We found it. We added a table, and we used this table SQL as the code for that. And then we added a stored procedure for that. And again, we use that insert trade stored procedure code for that. So hopefully that works. Then once we had our table, we grabbed our connection string here. And I created a new string variable inside process trades, inside store trades there, which is our database connection. There's a couple of different connection strings here. I created one that I called Tom connection string and just pasted the connection string in here for that. Now, one thing you have to watch is the @ sign. You have to put an @ sign before your string. Has anyone seen an @ sign before a string before? So if you have like weird things like escape characters like backslashes inside your string, you can put an @ sign there, and then the backslash is not treated like an escape character, but as a backslash there. So for some string formats, this just works better. So just put an @ sign equals and then paste in your string there. Now, when we run this, oh, then we have to use this. So down here, we create a new connection. Right now it's using the generic string. I want to use Tom connection string or whatever you named your connection string, use that. So whatever you created a string for, use that as your connection string. You'll connect to the database that way. So now when you run it, hopefully we will update, we'll read the file. There are 4 trades in the file. It will process the 4 trades, store them all in the database. And if you see that, you are doing really well. You should be happy.
Not breaking.
It's not breaking.
Not breaking.
Not breaking. That's a good step. Okay. So I'll come around and try to get us to this place here with the local database. There. Okay, so here's our database is now working. Now you can also do this with Azure, and I'm not going to spend too much time. I walked through it more in here, and again, if you're a Mac user, you might. This is actually easier because I have a lot of this set up. So in Azure, our cloud-based solution, I can go to Azure. I can log in. I'm logging in with my CSS account here, and I can create objects. So there are all sorts of objects. I compute, virtual machines, containers here. So like Docker-like containers. We'll learn more about Kubernetes later on there, but lots of containers and databases, non-SQL databases, SQL servers. Cheapest and easiest thing is this Azure database here. Let's see. I think it's an SQL managed instance here. Nope. It's an SQL database. Yeah, it's just an SQL database that's based in a cloud. So it's not a whole server, an SQL server, just a single database that's hosted on the cloud. So I've gone there, I've created it there. So again, I've just hit create here, set up some stuff, enter the database name and a cost here. There's a free level where you can, at least for me there was, so I'm running on a free level actually here for this. I'm not going to actually create this. So this is this database. If I click on it, it's running here. And again, there's a connection string. I can just say show connection string. I can grab that connection string here. And that is what is this Azure connection string. So if I switch this from Tom's connection string to Azure connection string and run it, it should run and save the data to the cloud database. I think. The first time, again, this database is probably not running very much. And so the first time it's actually it seems like they have to spin up the database. I don't know where they. In my mind, I see a little robot saying, "Oops, they're running that database." The little robot runs across the room and finds some database file and brings it back and plugs it in and spins up the database. So the first time of the day when I connect to the database, it takes a while there. Um, and then from then on for that day, I don't know how long it stays active, but it's a lot faster. So I'm actually going to quit this and try it again here. Okay, so that's the Azure database. I'm just going to let that run. And I'm going to show you the next thing, because again, you just have to do one or the other of those. If you have trouble, especially online students connecting one to the other, let me know. Microsoft has some security in place and where you can connect to the database. So let me know if you are having trouble, text me and I can help you out. Okay, so what we want to do next is set up a unit test here. So we want to try to create a unit test for read trade data. So if I go into my program here, the top is the first method in process trades or trade processor is read trade data. I'm going to click on that and try to create a unit test for that here. Oops, my connection to my SQL. Then I wonder if I don't. I may have to update this Azure connection. So, but I want you to start doing the unit test part 2 here. Just have a couple minutes left for that. So again, we're going to go up to the top of process trades. Here's our read trade data. I'm going to right click on that and try to create a unit test. And it's going to tell you why you can't create a unit test there. It's not a public method. So then we have to go find a public method. All these methods are private except for the very bottom one. The very bottom one is process trades is the only public method here. So I'm going to right click on that and say create unit test. So it brings up a screen. Everything is fine. You can just hit OK on that screen. It will create a new solution, our new project. So here's our main project. Here's our test project. And it'll create a new project with a single test file in it here. And I want you to make some test records there. The problem is, how do we test out this whole big process trades? I have a sample solution here for your first trade here. So we are going to do this test out a normal file. So I'm going to copy this method over instead of this one. But we're going to need to count the database records. So we're going to have this variable for count the database record, or this added method in here for counting the database records. And it connects with a connection string. So we also, to get this work, we have to connect up to this connection string here. So on what is this? I think I want to, yeah. That's to change this a little bit. So see if you can get this connection working. I'm getting an error, and I think I actually wanted this to go right here. Yeah. See if I can edit this. Okay. So see if you can get this, and eventually you should be able to run under tests. You say run all tests. It'll bring up a test explorer and run the tests and see if this test will pass. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. Let me pause this.